welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting edition of Transformers Reviews. Now, guys, as you can see, we are taking a look at Shattered Glass Starscream, and this stuff that is set up behind the figure, I actually really like it, especially considering I like the comic that is actually about the figure in the box. Which, speaking of the box, I love that artwork of Shattered Glass Starscream. It looks really cool. It's something we haven't seen before, which it leads us on over to the instructions, which I like the kind of the gradients and the blue and just, I mean, this thing has a lot of life to it, and I really am digging that. However, let's take a look at Starscream himself. So everybody, we've all seen this mold 1,000 times before, yet there are a couple different twists on this. Because never having had a good Decepticon before, it's kind of weird to see it with red Decepticon logos. Plus, I mean, okay, obviously, you know, he's still got a standard null raise, and the split sword does add just kind of a slight enough different aesthetic, but never seeing a Tetrajet in these colors. I don't know, I really just like it. However, we know what his deco is inspired from. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he actually robbed his color scheme from the Generation 1 Jetfire in the original Shattered Glass and again here in the new version of it. And you know what? He definitely does rock it. I mean, just as much as the original guy did. Now, however, when you're looking at these, you can obviously tell this is a darker red, this is a brighter red. You know what? They rock it really well, and I definitely like that. However, I think there is one other bot that we do have to stack him up against. And of course, it was inevitable that we would always compare him to the original progenitor of this entire mold. And you know what? There is such a distinction that I really like it. He has come a long way since he was this dirty, scabby Tetrajet. Anyway, it would really kind of be cool just to have these guys like squaring off on the shelf. And, but I have to say, I have not seen how they compare in robot mode yet. But let's finally take a look. And here is the courageous, loyal Decepticon Knight Starscream in his robot mode. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because he's rocking Jetfire's colors, but it looks so different from any of the other Seekers, and it feels, maybe it's just the white is why it feels so fresh, but yet it feels so vibrant, because it's got the punches of the red and the blue that contrast ever so nicely with that little crispy whiteness that he's got going on. And so here is Screamer with Jetfire. And I gotta say, I kind of like this picture because to me it's kind of like if the Shattered Glass Starscream crossed over into the main cartoon universe and he's trying to convince Jetfire, even letting Jetfire hold his sword just to show that there's, you know, nothing shady going on here. Like he's trying to explain the whole situation. And so, you know, it shows that you can use figures that are from different continuities. There are kind of creative ways that you can, not that this is super creative, but there are ways that you can display them together if you choose to do so. And this is just one example of how I might personally do it myself. But I just generally like how these two guys look together because of course they would. They're like we've said 100 times, they're sharing the same generalized look. Plus, the thing that blows me away is the Starscream head is, we've always seen it as black, and now it's just completely done in this white molding, which if you guys can tell, he is rocking blue eyes. Now, if we compare him with his original mold, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've always thought this is a great mold, but each one of these iterations of Starscream serves its purpose. So what I would actually like to see is these guys going at it full-on swords, and it is a little bit weird to see Starscream wielding a sword that he jacked from one of the Seacons, but it is kind of still an interesting sight, especially whenever you see that Starscream has lost like usual.
Please, don't, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. Please don't.
But it is nice to see at least some version of Starscream and Jetfire teaming up. Now guys, before we go ahead and wrap up this video, I do want to go ahead and put this in. that the Shattered Glass Megatron is actually a recolor and remold of the Energon Megatron. And this figure, in my opinion, while it's imperfect, it looks cool. And the new one, just being a reuse of the Siege version of Megatron with some remolded bits, it just doesn't look as good. So, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to pass on the Shattered Glass Megatron because it just pales in comparison to the original. And the original version of it is insane. So, anyway, we might just have to stick with the Shattered Glass Soundwave and Starscream. So guys, that's our look at Shattered Glass Starscream. Like I said, this is the 10th time that we've seen this mold, so I just wanted to go over a few of the highlights for it. But if you guys are looking for the Bone Breaker episode on our twin channel, we are still in development of that. I want to get it right. And so anyway guys, until the next time, we'll see you in another review.
I'm just your